out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I'm here for a spoiler-filled review for Fear the Walking Dead, the second season, 7th episode, Shiva, I believe that's the name of it. If you haven't seen the episode, go and check it out, amctv.com. Take this, put it in your watch later, come back, because I'm about to go into a whole plethora of spoilers. And by the way, on each Wednesday, we're going to try to be doing spoiler review discussions on Fear the Walking Dead. And then on Mondays, we're going to be doing the Game of Thrones discussion. So definitely keep that in mind moving forward. But I'm about to go into the spoilers now. I like this episode. I thought it was really artsy. Everything from the imagery with like Strand trying to bury like the love of his life, Thomas, with Daniel unraveling mentally and emotionally, like especially Daniel. Everything that was going on with Daniel, it was so trippy, and it felt like I was in a whole different show. Like I was like, dude, like what is Daniel doing? Like the moment where I realized where he was losing it is when he was grabbing his daughter and like getting afraid, and then all of a sudden she started peeling her flesh off, and I was like, he's dreaming. And then like he goes, grabs her again, and he starts ranting on and like, oh, I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. And it was like, we were waiting for my mother on the outside. And I'm like, yo, this man is losing it. And you come to realize that he told his wife everything about the heinous acts that he had done, the people that he had killed, and basically she went into the grave with that. And another thing was that he never actually got to put her soul at rest. And that was one of the reasons why he got so upset with Strand, because he was like, no, you can't bury it. Like, you can't do that. Because basically it paralleled what happened with his wife. He couldn't find her body. He couldn't put her at rest. And so in his mind, in his heart, her soul is at rest with all the burdens that he put to her. And he feels all that guilt and weight, and he never grieved over his wife. Like, this is the love of his life. And then when he was tied up, and the lady of the house, her crazy self, like he was literally unraveling at the scenes. And I thought it was an actual perfect sequence because it added suspense, but so much kind of darkness and willing. I don't know, it was so weird. It felt really weird. Even like the decision that Daniel made to try to burn what was left of the people in the gate. Now, I don't understand that because I never saw, what was her name? Ophelia? Or whatever the woman's name is that is the caretaker or Thomas's mother, surrogate mother. When Madison locked her out and locked her in there, I was rooting for Madison to do that. But I never saw her when Daniel went back there. So I was like, is she going to lock Daniel in there? Is Daniel going to die? I don't know. When he set the whole thing on fire just for him to see his wife, I thought that was beautifully watched, but it just didn't make sense. The other big thing that I thought was crazy is Travis trying to find Chris. And I was like, yo, Chris is losing his mind. At the point that I realized Travis got to this house, this guy was trying to help him out, give him some water, give him some shoes, tell him to leave. I realized the guy had fear all over him. Come to find out, Chris got the boy at gunpoint. Like, I mean, it's just sad, man. Because Chris is going to sit there and pull the knife on his dad, fought with his dad, pointing the gun at his dad. Brad, like, if I was his son, man, like, he might have got knocked out and tied up and then drugged back. Like, nah. Like, it didn't make sense to me personally to leave the group. I understand because he's a safety risk. Like, you can't necessarily leave him with the group. But at the same time, in the way that this world is, he can't survive and thrive alone. So I thought that was crazy. And then Nick found him just for him to tell Nick to leave. And then Nick's tripping. Like, one of my favorite characters, this dude, he done lost his gosh darn mind. That woman, she imparted in his head that there's a realization that there's a possibility that they are really alive. And the people that are doing these heinous acts are really the humans. And it's just a counterbalance kind of thing. And I mean, it was interesting dialogue between him and Madison, him and the woman, and then the final act of when he sees like the place up in flames, and he was like, "Who did this?" He looking at his mom, he's like, "No, his mom did it, even though Daniel did it." And I don't know, it adds suspense to the show to not know. But in the general term, it's just like, I feel like they're putting this Nick character in the backfold because it makes him sound he's crazy. I understand it though, because what Daniel is experiencing reminds me of what Rick was experiencing with Lori. What Chris is experiencing is what Shane went through. But what Nick is experiencing is unlike anything kind of the show's kind of enveloped, because it's kind of like, it reminds me of when Rick trying to conform for Herschel on the second season for the farm, for the team's sake. But Rick never just went tip, you know what I'm saying? He always got back because he needed to be there. He needed to be that leader. Like, Nick is just going his own different way, and it's like, I don't know where he's going to fall, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It was a good episode. I give it a 9 out of 10. But, well, this is the mid-season finale. Now it's time to focus on some Game of Thrones. So, anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't going to stop. Y'all have a blessing. Peace.